In this video, I'm going to go over the top 10 things that go wrong throughout a real estate transaction that you need to know before you ever buy a home here in Middle Georgia. And by the end of this video, you're going to know exactly what goes wrong throughout the whole process, every single thing that could go wrong, and how we're going to prepare, or you prepare, for these things to happen so you can have a smooth, seamless, stress-free purchase experience. And I'm telling you what, something will go wrong. It is nearly impossible for something not to go wrong, right? We usually got 2 realtors. We got up to 4 people when it comes to buyers and sellers, usually 2 buyers, 2 sellers. When it comes down to it, we got some spouses. We got lenders involved. We got appraisers involved. We got, the inspector. We got termite, right? And be able to get a termite letter. You're going to have the appraiser. You're going to have the attorney's office. There's a lot of moving parts throughout the buying process. And I promise you, something will go wrong. But hopefully, after you watch this video, you actually know what will go wrong so that we can prepare for it. If you're one of my clients, I already have your back on this. We have the SOPs, the standard operating procedures, to make sure that we contact these people and make sure that we can get this thing as smoothly as we possibly can. And number 1 on the list, it's your finances, okay? Usually when you buy a home, it's 2 ways. You got cash or you're going to get a loan. And the loan is really what we can get caught up with. Depending if it's an FHA versus VA versus conventional, there's a bunch of different stuff that's going on. But once you get pre-approved, you have to understand something. The pre-approval does not mean for any reason that you're actually approved. I know it's called a pre-approval letter, but it does not mean that you're approved. During that process, a loan officer, a lender, a mortgage officer, a bank, they have a million different names, wrote you up a little sheet and said, hey, based off of the information that you gave me, we believe that you will be approved. Now, depending on who it is or the company or anything like that, they will either say yay or they will say nay, but that does not mean that you're actually approved yet. What that actually means is you have the potential to be approved. If you buy a car, if your debt-to-income ratio changes, if your credit score changes, if you signed for a car way back in the day with your nephew and all of a sudden he hasn't been making payments and bam, your credit gets affected, you could lose out on the ability to purchase your home. So with number 1 being financial approval falling through, we need to make sure that the bank or the lender or the mortgage individual, whatever it is, that gets finalized throughout the process, and we get to the point what's called clear to close. We checked off all the boxes, all the loans approved for, the appraiser got checked, everything in between, and we are good to move forward. Number 2, home inspection surprises. This one ruins. I'm telling you what, the house can look so good on the inside, so good on the outside. The human eye sees it. And then bam, you got roof issues, you got plumbing issues, you got electrical, you got asbestos all up in the ducts. You might have lead-based paint in the home, and if for any reason you move in, you're gonna die. There could be something horrible. And that's why you get a home inspection, and you will get surprised. I get surprised. I have a house in my own neighborhood down the road, and we got an inspection on it, and I'm telling you what, from the outside, he works at everything, other than it does need a new roof. Okay, I will give it that, but everything is beautiful. It's 18 years old. Get the inspection, bam, termites. We got like wood-eating beetles underneath. They had underneath the house in the crawl space, which I didn't even know how to get to, they had it redone where you put liner in there to prevent mold. When they hired that company to go out a couple years ago to do that, they took the whole rolls and shoved those underneath the house and didn't even lay the liners down. You will get hit by surprise in these home inspections. You have to get one, okay? And you might get surprised, but hey, guess what? It's a safety net. You spent $375 to maybe $450 if you're in our local area. But I promise you, that is much better than getting into a home and realizing that you have tens of thousands of dollars of repairs that you didn't know about. Number 3, appraisal discrepancies. I call them discrepancies. You could call them issues. At the end of the day, if you get into a home and the home gets appraised, right? Let's say you're paying cash and you pay for an appraisal out of pocket, or you're getting a loan and you pay for it out of pocket, depending on which lender that you go with. The guy that I prefer, his name is Mitchell Tucker. Awesome dude. If you're a veteran, you work at a hospital, if you're a police officer, first responder, all those good things. He actually pays out of his own check that he makes for you, which is super cool. You use whoever you want. That's who I use. That's who I use in this house that I'm sitting in right now. But there is a problem when the home comes in under the value that you made an offer on. So what's going to happen is we go into what's called Tidewater here in the state of Georgia. And underneath Tidewater, we have 48 hours to renegotiate, to change the price. I'm going to throw this out there. When I say we, I mean all parties involved. If we offered, let's say, $375,000 for a home and it comes in at $365,000, I'm not going to be negotiating for your home to be worth more money. I'm going to negotiate to make sure that it stays at $365,000. That's what we want. That's what we want to do. Okay? Now, two things will happen. Number one, the seller will reduce the price of the property to the new appraised amount. That's up to them. They can make whatever decision that they want. Or number two, you're going to have to pay a bigger down payment out of your pocket, meaning that you're putting money towards non-existence, okay? Now, depending on the housing market, you may have to do that. You may be paying more than the house is worth today because of supply and demand. That's what was happening really bad in 2021, 2022 with everything. Is that today? Not really. Number four, title and deed issues. Yes, get titles insurance. It's like $1,000, but I promise you want to get it. Okay, I'm not a salesman for title insurance, but you might run into title and deeds. Okay, I've been selling houses for a little while now, and out of all of the transactions that I've ever done, I've never ran into a title or deed issue when it came down to the home. Okay, it's very far and few in between. And when it comes down to on the seller side, I have ran into deed issues. However, we've gotten this fixed before we listed on the market. However, a seller might not understand, nor know, nor disclose, they should, that there's an issue. For example, hypothetically, somebody got work done on the property. Say they did $10,000 worth of plumbing, and they never paid the contractor. That contractor can put a lien out on the property. You might not know about it. The seller didn't bring it up. They're just not paying. Guess whose problem that is when you buy the home? You. Guess what happens if you don't have title insurance? You're going to have to get an attorney. Okay? It's a good idea to get title insurance because they are going to do the title search. They're going to search for everything. But if something were to go through and fall through with that, and what I mean by fall through is drop the ball and then you owe somebody a bunch of money for something that's not really your problem, but now you're stuck with it because you're the owner of the home. Title insurance is definitely the way to do it. If you need help with title insurance or understanding what title insurance is, I will probably make a video in the future, but just go to the description below. Every attorney's office here in the state of Georgia sells title insurance, so I'm just going to take some pictures of the brochure, or I'm actually going to go online and just find a random company. You don't have to use that company. Description is going to show what title insurance is, and then I just recommend going through whatever attorney's office that you're going through. This makes things easy. Next on the list, we got insurance challenges, okay? Insurance is very important. It's something that you're going to have to pay for if you own a home. And when it comes to home insurance, things like, a flood area. Here in the state of Georgia, we really don't get tornadoes at all, so you don't really have to worry about that. A big one that I've ran into recently is overgrown trees that hang over roofs. You probably will not get home insurance if those branches are over, so you're either going to have to pay to get this cut down, or we're going to have to negotiate the seller does. It's a bunch of different things when it comes to insurance. You want to be careful because I don't want your policy skyrocketing, or you get denied home insurance because of the property. Then you start shopping around and all of a sudden your home insurance is $600. Do not want that for you. But we want to make sure that the home will get approved for home insurance, and we can do that as soon as we get under contract during the due diligence period. Send them over your insurance company the property's address. And also, if you want a great contact, Kevin Berry State Farm over in Centerville, that's who we use. My father-in-law's been with that office for over 50 years. They are amazing. My favorite people. Again, you use whoever you want, but I love Kevin. What's going on? If you don't know me, my name is Luke Smith, and yes, this is my banjo. If you are looking to buy, sell, or invest in real estate here in the local Middle Georgia market, go to the description below, book a call with me, and I promise I'll play a lick on the banjo for you and help you move over. Now, Back to the video. Number 6, unexpected delays, because we've had most likely 30 days to figure out everything, to get title, to get the loan, to get literally everything, right? Escrow issues that we have so much time. And I've even gotten it now built into my SOP, standard operating procedures, to check up on the lender, on title, on escrow officer, on closing, on everything to make sure that things go smooth, even making sure that the other agent does their job and checks off boxes. It's just little stuff. For example, if you're getting a VA home loan and in the local area, Bughouse Pest Control will do a free termite letter on the home. You just have to schedule the appointment, give the seller's first name, last name, buyer's first name, last name, their email address, it's the property location. They just go out there, they spend 5 minutes to make sure the house is termite free. We get a letter and we send it off, and that loan is cha-ching. We're ready to rock and roll, baby. It's the little stuff. So make sure that if you're not using me as a realtor, you pick somebody that knows these processes inside and out, because unexpected delays can cost thousands of dollars. If you got moving trucks, if you got moving companies, if you're selling your home and you're going to be homeless until you move into this next house, you gotta be careful. You gotta be prepared. Number 6 is unexpected delays. My biggest pet peeve. I got your back. I fight for this. It will not happen to you. It happens to you, I promise. I am more upset than you are. Number 7, negotiations. Okay, there's a few key places, and I want to teach you this here real quick. If you're still watching this video, by the way, I know this is a longer video. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video. I really want to pour out everything, and I want to make sure that the people that are actually watching this far on the video get the value that you deserve, because your attention is worth a lot, okay? And I'm really thankful for that. The negotiation hurdles, right? We have the initial offer period. What's going on the purchase and sale, and then what's going on contingencies. Long story short, the initial offer. Next, we have what's called the due diligence period, and we're going to get a home inspection. And then last, typically, is going to be the appraisal. Okay, first and foremost on the purchase and sale, we have the purchase price. What do we want to offer them? Because in my opinion, a house is worth what a buyer is willing to pay and what a bank is willing to loan. That's only 2 things. Somebody says that their house is worth $400,000, they don't have any offers. Guess how much it's worth? It's actually worth nothing, because they haven't got a price for it and they haven't gotten an offer. So it's worth what somebody's willing to pay. So, just a price, strategically based off of that. Closing cost help. If you would like them to take out of their proceeds the check that they're going to get at closing, and they help towards closing costs, they go towards, other things to be able to help you close on the home. Things that stay with the property. Let's say that you really just love a unique piece that's in the home. Now you have to understand that's going to be separate. You can't put that into your loan. You're going to have to pay for that separate. But I'm just saying, negotiation, purchase separate. Right? Next, we are going to have what is called the due diligence period. During the due diligence period, there will be a home inspection. I highly recommend it. And let's say, for example, we see that there is just some minor damages, some light switches not working, maybe the dishwasher, isn't properly hooked up, or it might be broken. And then all of a sudden, we test the microwave and the microwave doesn't work, right? Just typical things with an home. We can negotiate for them to repair, replace, or just check off and say those things are good to go. If we ask, for example, them to replace the microwave, they repair the dishwasher, and then they repair those outlets, and they flat out say, I'm not doing it. I'm selling my own. The market's hot, and I ain't going to do none of that. We might run into some hurdles, right? We want to give, we want to take, and the key to negotiation is to make sure that both parties win. Because if you're my client, or if you're a client of the past and stuff like that, and I use some very unique language, and I've actually had clients in the past say that, Luke, we feel like you're not on my team. You have to understand something. I have your back no matter what. But you have to understand, if the other party feels like they're losing, you won't win. I promise. During negotiations, both parties have to feel like they've won something. Something at all. Whether it's purchase price, whether it's closing costs, whether it's repairs, whether it's time, when it comes down to them staying in the home after, whatever it may be, both parties have to feel like they've won in some way. If we just grip into them and just absolutely destroy them, it's not going to go through. Go and read the book, Never Split the Difference, okay? And within that, you're going to see an FBI negotiator teach you how to negotiate. On my behalf, that's how I negotiate. So I don't really know if there's a better way than a former FBI negotiator of like 30 years. Okay, and I've tailored that specifically to real estate during the process. So when I advise you, please take my advice. If you don't want my advice, go find somebody else, because I'm here to get you the best deal possible. But when it comes down to negotiation hurdles, they happen not too often. You know, I got your back. I'm gonna hook you up. Next on the list, number 8, we're gonna have legal issues. This doesn't happen often, but I want to throw this out there when it comes down to, because things like zoning issues or non-compliance, you know, with local regulations may pop up, or easements and different things. When it comes down to that, the attorney's going to be the one that's going to most likely take care of all of those issues. Doesn't happen often. If something does happen, most likely closing is just going to get delayed, but we're going to get it figured out. Number 9, the seller pulls out of the deal. Maybe it's legal, maybe it's personal, but at the end of the day, a seller, they don't have to sell the house if they don't want to. And if we get into a binding, you know, legal binding contract and all that kind of stuff, we can fight. But at the end of the day, if they pull out of the deal, which is very unlikely, we can run into some issues. Now, for example, if we're under legal binding contract and they accept another contract, nope, we're going to the attorney, we're going to figure this out, because that is going to be your house. However, if they just flat out say, I don't want to sell my house anymore, we can contact the attorney's office, we can try, but at the end of the day, there's really nothing we can do. However, has that ever happened to me? No, but it's a possibility. And last but not least, number 10, moving issues. If you're moving from halfway across the United States, you have to sell your house prior and seamlessly move into the next one. And issues like that may come into play, because when you're moving, you have to set up utilities, you have to get the movers, you got to get the truck, you got to get the keys to the house, you got to properly close, you have to be able to fund this purchase. When it comes down to it, moving and timing coordination is gonna be a big one. But hey, now that you know the top 10 things that could potentially go wrong during the home buying process, go and check out this video on how I help my clients buy a house from start to finish. And I promise you, by the end of that video, you're gonna know better than a real estate agent knows on how to buy a house. Got your back for life.